Hello, my name is Seika, and today we are going to look at the works of a beginner artist and critique them a bit. The artist is a friend of mine called Jade, who is aiming to make her own manga, and we are going to advise her on what to practice. She gave us some of her drawings to look at, and we will go more in depth later on. The main focus of this video will be studying and construction, which I believe are the issues Jade needs to fix first. And reminder for anyone who's watching, these tips apply to everyone, so you too will benefit from this video. Let's start with studies, their benefits and how to approach them using construction. When I first started drawing at age 10, I would not study at all really. I would search up how to draw manga face or poses on YouTube, but that was it. I didn't really look at real people and study, which led to me not progressing in terms of skill. But that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. I mean that all changed around 15 years old. 5 years after I started drawing, and here are the studies I did. These are my first hand studies. 1 page a day, with 25 hands on each page, using my own hand as reference for most of them. Remember, the first hand on this page is my skill after 5 years of drawing regularly. That was the best hand I could draw using reference, and as you can see, it's not really good. But after only 4 days of study, you can see the improvement already. So I hope this proves to you just how important studying is. 5 years. 4 days. But with studies like these, one of the most important thing is the construction. Everything can be built using simple shapes. With hands, this image here is a nice visualization of the construction. And this is kind of what I would do when I studied how to draw hands. I would start with a square with the corners cut like this. The index goes here. The 3 other fingers here. And finally the thumb. This is a simple version of how to construct a hand. But when you look at the hand reference when you study, you need to draw the hand by building these constructions. You can see the constructions in the drawings, here are the square and the circles for the knuckles, it's all there. And by doing this, you actually learn how to draw properly and will be able to also draw from imagination. If you do not construct and rely on drawing the outlines of the reference, you will have a tough time. Not only will it be hard to draw even with a reference, but you will not be able to draw at all without a reference. Also, Jade, it is important that you construct when you study, because when you draw, one major mistake that you make is, you draw a very loose underdrawing like this, and immediately you switch to an inking brush, and I see you ink the nose, draw the eyes kind of like that, without actually constructing anything first. When you do this, you don't have any landmarks set, so your drawing will end up with a lot of mistakes. What you need to do is learn to construct using reference. Here is an exercise where you can learn how to construct by drawing these puppets. Here are some examples that I made. As you can see, I'm drawing this man with very basic shapes, with cylinders for the limbs and circles for the torso and triangle for the pelvis. And this is just a construction, you don't need to get all the muscles perfectly here, although learning anatomy is also very important even at this stage, but I will show you guys how to learn anatomy another time. For now, we keep it simple. We are just building the basic shapes. You can see it here too with this woman, you are just drawing the shapes and building the figure. Like here, you can see, I have the square with the corners cut and the cylinder for the hand. That's how you want to be building it, using reference of course. So this is one way to start constructing. And if you want to draw from imagination, you can still use reference as a guide. Here is an example. You can see I have these stylized faces, but you can use the references on the right to guide you. You can see it with the drawing on the bottom especially. In the reference, you can see a little bit of the eye there, and I can use that information to draw my stylized version. Just use the reference as a guide. And that's what you want to do when you are starting to draw from imagination. For example, let's look at these mouths. They are very stylized, but they are still based off the real ones. And then, after you study anatomy, learn how to draw faces and get good at drawing with reference, you can start to draw dummies using only your imagination. So let's recap a bit. We start with drawing dummies completely from reference. Then we use reference to help us draw from imagination. And then, using the skills you learn from these exercises and studies, we can draw completely from imagination. Now let's look at Jade's drawing and reflect on it a bit. Jade told me that one of her inspirations was Black Butler, and I have prepared some images here. When you look at these manga pages, we can see that the characters wear very dark clothes, but you can still see a lot of definition. Looking at your drawing, Jade, we can see that the frames merge together and the overall drawing end up a bit flat and empty. The overall design needs a bit of work. Details such as seams and folds would bring a lot here. We can look at this artist's drawings and take from it. I have some other reference included in the PSD to see how other artists use black. Style and design has a huge impact here. What I mean is, for example, Rock Lee doesn't have a lot of definition either, with his torso and legs being mostly black, but his clothes are very form-fitting, and he has details such as bandages, leg wraps and great facial expression that makes it work. Here is something a bit closer to your drawing. The Akatsuki. They have the robes that are mostly black, but there are cloud designs within it that prevents the drawing from looking too bland, and the use of white lines to separate the forms. We can bring these aspects to your own drawing to better the design. Also, here are some drawings of your character that I made, using the manga pages as reference to show you a direction in which you can push your drawings. I don't draw a lot of manga nowadays, but I like the first one. The second one was a bit experimental and doesn't look like your character, but it's fine, I guess. I hope you watch this video and learn from it. Remember, study, construction and practice. Rewatch the video from time to time if necessary, as this is what I believe to be the information you need right now. I know I'm a bit late, but making a video was harder than I expected. Lamau. Thank you all for watching and see you guys next time.